I wanted to talk to you though about this memo because I was already buzzing about it. I saw you had some posts about it too, and you guys can chime in if you want to as well. But I really want to. So Roy, I'll let you introduce yourself because you're a man with many hats and many titles, brother.
I am. Hello everyone, and definitely a pleasure to make everyone's acquaintance. Roy Tatem. I'm a political operative, worked in the world of politics for about 20 years. I've recently been the Deputy Director for African American Outreach for Senator Bernie Sanders, and currently serve as a senior advisor on the Jill Stein campaign. And so it's been amazing over the last year or so with the political climate the way that it is and the direction that it's going in, and the impact of Black Lives Matter in the entire campaign. And so with the WikiLeaks leak and what we experienced on the campaign and what we now know to be true as it relates to how the DNC, the Clinton campaign handled Bernie Sanders, we also see and know, confirmed, that the DNC and the Clinton campaign operated in cahoots to railroad Black Lives Matter. So, and to see those points, those talking points of, make sure they meet with a low-level official, frontline official, don't give any hard commitments to the policy points. And the policy points that Black Lives Matter is asking for is something that for the police departments that I've talked to and police officials that I've talked to, they don't feel that they're all that unreasonable. Don't get me wrong, it may add a bit more work to have an account for deaths at the hands of the police, the tracking of the police misconduct. Those types of things are something that police officers want more of. They want the training. They want to be equipped to deal with the police. The police officers that I've encountered are not people that say they want to just go out and kill people. They want to handle the situations or try to de-escalate the situations the best way that they can. However, we've seen far too many situations where they've just ended up in the deaths of young black, brown men and women and children at that matter. So to see Black Lives Matter requests being treated like this by the DNC really needs to, that really tells us what we're dealing with, not just with the candidate, as in Hillary Clinton, but with the entire system, with the entire Democratic National Committee. There's a problem there. It's way too white. It's way too, let me just keep it real. It's just way too white, way too suburban. People that, I think the black people in the mix are scared to open their mouths and speak truth in the circles that they wouldn't necessarily get it from. And that's what I feel like we were able to do, myself and Marcus Farrell, on the Bernie Sanders campaign. We were able to give Bernie the real. We were able to give him real information, real conversations about what was happening in the community. And so, and people like Killer Mike around, people like Dr. Cornel West were able to give Bernie at the time real analysis. And so that's what I'm able to do now with Dr. Jill Stein. I've already conveyed the information to her. She's traveling right now in California, and so already conveyed the message to her, and she's always been open to meeting with Black Lives Matter activists. She's back out in Los Angeles and met with the Black Lives Matter movement in LA, and they've embraced her. You can just see on her page a number of a number of live Facebook feeds and tweets or posts with her and Black Lives Matter activists. And so I believe that Black people that embrace Black Lives Matter really need to take a hard look at what's going on with the DNC. Now, let's be real. Everybody that is that's Black doesn't embrace Black Lives Matter.
No, so, not at all.
Let's be honest with that. Let's be open with that. Everybody that's Black does not embrace Black Lives Matter. So you're gonna have some Black people, whether they be political leaders, clergy members, elected officials, quote unquote community leaders, make their comments about, well, Black Lives Matter was disorganized, or Black Lives Matter doesn't have a central head of leadership, so Black Lives Matter need to get their stuff together before they try to hold somebody. They'll say all of that to divert the attention away from the real issue. And the real issue is the DNC never had any intention on even listening to the platform of Black Lives Matter leaders, which really speaks volumes about the DNC and just their mindset as it relates to Black people in general, Black Lives Matter in particular. So I may have said a mouthful. I'm gonna get in trouble. I usually get in trouble for this.
You came in like a wrecking ball, bro. Like,
kicked the door in, didn't it?
The last part of what you said about the DNC and never really having any real intention on working with Black Lives Matter, I think is so crucial because I'm probably some of y'all out there do it too. I follow Erica Garner. I really feel like Erica's voice is refreshing, and it's not just because I like the way she has come about things as an independent-minded person. And Erica had a tweet about how back when her father was killed, the DNC was more concerned about stopping Al Sharpton's march across, I think it was the Verrazano Bridge, than actually the outrage of the incident itself. And there is a history. We've seen this. I mean, we even saw this. That memo was dated November sometime, but we saw this here in Atlanta in October when Hillary Clinton did her unveiling over at Clark Atlanta, and the youth with AUC, the students' youth, or activists, organizers with AUC shut it down. And also, like, when they use the term Black Lives Matter as that umbrella term, where you have a lot of different organizers and organizations out there that have been trying to work and really get messaging across on these issues. And the group from AUC shut it down. A group of students down here, when they interrupted her Welcome to Atlanta speech, and they were shushed out and put out by John Lewis, for starters, along with Usher Raymond, the entertainer Usher Raymond, Monica. I mean, it's the who's who of the Black elite of Atlanta put these young people out. So when you talk about breaking down that not everybody who's Black is for Black Lives Matter, that is absolutely true. And we watched that unfold here in Atlanta. And that's only a month before this memo about how to engage, because everybody was fine when Bernie was getting run up on stages, and we can get into all the intricacies of that as well. But there was a response from the campaign that showed, at least after some conversations, so whatever y'all did behind the scenes, where we never really saw that, and we still to this day haven't seen that from the Hillary Clinton campaign. We've seen nothing but pandering. We haven't seen that from the DNC as a whole, because when you look at Michael Bloomberg being on the stage of the Democratic National Convention, Mr. Stop and Frisk is nothing wrong with it, and Black men shouldn't own guns, legal or otherwise. I mean, you can't tell me that you're seriously taking our concerns to heart when you put somebody like that on the stage to speak in a moment of unity. You can parade the moms out all you want to, something that you have put onto a movement, and I say you as in the DNC, as in this they talk about, and it's so funny that memo talks about not co-opting the movement, right? But that's exactly what we saw happening when people decided to market and to take use. When you have Trayvon Martin's mother talking about gun control, and her son was not killed from an incident that would have been prevented by gun control, that's all we have there is pandering and co-option happening. So you said a mouthful, but it's absolutely spot on. I don't know if anyone else listening wants to hop in what they thought when they saw that. I mean, I think there were some points that were, it just seemed like a lot of handling, right? Instead of having honest conversations, which is what we need more of.
Hey, let's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let's get to him. We get Bernie
Let's go back to Roy because Mike, you're breaking up a little bit. So I'll go back to Roy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is about this memo is really the audacity that they have to feel like they got to tell. And I mean, there are Black people that work on the local level of the Democratic National Committee. I mean, there are Black people in cities all across the country that know how to engage. I mean, most of the Black Lives Matter activists are grassroots members of the community. So to send out this memo to say this is how you deal with people in your community, I believe that I don't know who, what's the name, Troy Perry. I don't know who that is, but I want to find out who he is, find out what his back. I mean, just, dude, where did you come from?
He's a brother.
And who
somebody's been tweeting out. They've been tweeting out his information all day.
Yeah. Like, who are you to say this is how you deal with Black Lives Matter? Did that come from Debbie? Did that come from Debbie Wasserman Schultz? So I believe we need to take that conversation as far as it can go, because
absolutely.
DNC, did it come from Debbie? Did Debbie see it? Did Debbie approve it? And did Obama know about it? Did the White House know about it? So if we're saying, okay, Democrats, Black people have voted Democrat 95% of the time, Donald Trump has a 1 to 2% approval rating in the Black community.
Yeah.
The Democrats have what, a 90-some percent, 94%? I mean, do the Democratic Party want Black millennials in their party? That's really what they got to ask. Because older Black people, it is what it is. A lot of older Black people are gonna just, they're gonna suck it up. They're not gonna say anything. They're gonna act like it didn't happen, and they're gonna do whatever they can to get Hillary elected. But young Black people, the young millennials that are seeing this, I mean, because I'm really impressed with this millennial generation, because they are not down with the corruption, with the collusion, with the backroom dealings. They do not want unfairness in politics. I feel very good about this new millennial generation that's coming up, because and they're not talking about the Black, white, they're not talking about that in that regard, but if they see unfairness, they're tackling it wherever they find it. And I mean, just as much as we can talk about the GOP, we got to deal with the DNC and the crap that they're dishing out, because this is why I feel like you got Black grassroots organizers that can't get jobs when in political campaigns, because they've got all these people lined up. These it's a whole bunch of nepotism that's going on, and you got, but they want Black people to do the job, the knock on doors, the phone bank, and the low level stuff. But when it comes to having a seat at the table and making the decisions, there's no room for that Black political operative a lot of time in the DNC, especially if you're not willing to go along to get along.